Hi friends, welcome to Gate Academy. In this video, I'll be giving a brief introduction about the structure analysis, what are the topics, subjects, chapters, everything that I'm going to discuss in the structure analysis. So, the topic, if you have seen the introduction video, I have already told you the structural analysis. Structural analysis subject of civil engineering will carry 4 to 6 marks from gate point of view, and from engineering services examination point of view it will carry 60 to 80 marks. 4 to 6 marks from gate point structural analysis. From gate point of view it is 4 to 6 marks, from engineering services point of view it is 60 to 80 marks. So coming to the topics that I am going to discuss in the structural analysis, the first chapter would be static indeterminacy. Kinematic indeterminacy, and stability of structures. So static indeterminacy, kinematic indeterminacy, and stability of the structures. So this would be your first chapter. In this, what I'll discuss. See, generally from your strength of materials, you might be knowing what are the types of the beams, right? So types of beams, types of supports, cantilever beam, simply supported beam, and types of beams and supports, right? Continuous beam. Your sir might have told you that there will be determinate beams, indeterminate beams, right? So if you see, whenever I say something, this is your cantilever beam, right? If I say different types of support, this is fixed support. If I take simply supported beam, there will be hinge support and there will be roller support, right? So different types of supports, if you see, these are the major three supports and types of beams. There will be continuous beams, there will be fixed beams also, right? So these are the beams and supports. Whenever I talk about indeterminacy, what exactly is indeterminacy is, it is to find out the number of reactions, forces over and above the equilibrium equations. Fine, I am giving a brief introduction. The equilibrium equations might be some of the forces in x direction is equals to 0, some of the forces in y direction is equals to 0, and moments are equals to 0. It can be in the beams, frames, trusses. Fine, all these things we'll see what are the equilibrium equations. Based on that equilibrium equations, what are the types of the loads? If let us say if some load is acted upon this one, what are the, if I take fixed supports, there will be vertical reaction, there will be horizontal reaction, and there will be moment, something like this. So by using these three equations, you should be able to solve, you should be able to find these three things. If you are not able to find, then we'll say the structure is indeterminate, and there are different methods to find out the forces in the members. If I say this is the beam, these are the reactions, we'll see what exactly is indeterminacy over here. That means how to find out these reactions, how to find out these reactions, how to find out the forces in the members, all those things. First we'll see what are the unknown forces here. The number of unknown forces is called as indeterminacy. Okay, just a brief discussion. In depth we'll discuss once we start the topic. So the first thing, I'll give you an introduction about types of beams and supports. Fine. this you might have already seen in your structure and strength of materials, but I am telling you this is what I am going to discuss. So that is one thing. Types of supports, indeterminacy. What is the amount of indeterminacy? In static indeterminacy also there will be two things. In static indeterminacy there will be two things. One is external indeterminacy. External indeterminacy. Second one is internal indeterminacy. External indeterminacy and internal indeterminacy. These are the two things that is very much important. Either it is beams, trusses, frames. External indeterminacy is easy to calculate. Internal indeterminacy is difficult. You feel it difficult, but we'll give you some methods so that you can easily crack it in the gate. From gate point of view, if you see generally one or two questions, if they want to twist, they twist in this subject only, in this chapter mainly. Fine, you can easily score 1 or 2 marks from this. Even engineering services also, minimum you can expect 2 marks from it. Generally 2 to 4 marks. Objective type of questions are generally asked from this. But why this is important is, this is the basics for all the other subjects, all the other chapters. Once if you are able to calculate what is the indeterminacy, then only you will be able to solve the problems. If you don't know the indeterminacy, if you can't differentiate whether it is indeterminate structure or determinate structure, you could never solve any problem in structural analysis. So the first thing that you should remember is, you should know how to calculate the indeterminacy, whether the structure is determinate structure, whether the structure is indeterminate structure or not. Fine. So we will discuss what exactly is external indeterminacy, what exactly is internal indeterminacy in these type of static indeterminacy. Then the next thing, if you ask me, we'll be discussing kinematic indeterminacy. Kinematic indeterminacy is also called as degrees of freedom. Kinematic indeterminacy or degrees of freedom. Okay. See, if you see external indeterminacy, it is more or less reactions, unknown reactions. These are unknown reactions. Fine. Internal indeterminacy is unknown forces in the member. Unknown forces in members. External indeterminacy is unknown reactions in the members. Internal indeterminacy is unknown forces in the members. Whereas kinematic indeterminacy or degrees of freedom, if I say, this is unknown displacements. Unknown displacements, rotations, all those things. Unknown displacements, rotations, all those things will come in kinematic indeterminacy. Fine. So suppose if you want to see what exactly is this, if I take a cantilever beam and if I apply a load, the beam bends something like this, right? So what exactly is this delta? Fine. What exactly is this deflection? And then what exactly is this theta? If I take this one, this is something like this, right? So what exactly is this theta? Or with respect to horizontal, what exactly is this theta? These are displacements and rotations. We'll find out these displacements and rotations in kinematic indeterminacy for different structures, frames. If I take a frame, if this is the frame, okay, this is the frame. If I apply the load like this, what happens? The frame might bend something like this. The frame might bend something like this. So this is one deflection, right? So here also it might bend something like this. This is deflection. There will be rotations also, right? So what exactly is this rotation? What exactly is displacements? How many displacements will be there at each and every joint? Generally, I'll consider this as rigid joint. Fine. This is also a rigid joint. Pin joints you'll generally see in the trusses. Fine. So what are the rotations at rigid joint? What are the displacements at rigid joint? What are the displacements at these points? You might have seen this delta, I mean from your strength of materials. If I take this as W, delta would be equals to how much? If this is some L, delta would be equals to W L cube upon 3 EI. Any of the method you can use. Morse theorem 1, Morse theorem 2 will be the easiest method, okay, or you can do with the conjugate beam method, or you can do from Michaelis method. All those methods, it's up to you, okay. So delta is calculated from here. Theta is given as WL square upon 2 EI, right? So this would be WL cube upon 3 EI, this would be WL square upon 2 EI, that is theta. So see, here we can calculate from strength of materials, but for indeterminate structure, this is an indeterminate structure. So for indeterminate structure, how you are going to solve it, that will be discussing in further chapters. But in this chapter, in this indeterminate structure, what are the number of unknown displacements and number of unknown rotations? Displacements and rotations, just finding out displacements and rotations is what we are going to do, not only here, in trusses also. In trusses also, we will see how the joint moves. Whenever I talk about trusses, I'll say generally pin jointed trusses. Fine. So it will be some support like this, there will be some support like this. Fine. So if I take this is for an example, so these are pin joints. These are from here, there you might see some type of fixed joint, but these are pin joint. Trusses can move either in horizontal direction and vertical direction. That's it. It can't move beyond that. So in horizontal direction and vertical direction, at each and every joint there will be 2 displacements. Fine. So number of displacements over and above the compatibility equations is considered as kinematic indeterminacy or degrees of freedom. So they'll give you a structure in the examination, they'll give you a structure, they'll ask you what is kinematic indeterminacy of this structure. How you are going to deal with this, we'll see in this chapter. Okay. So this is kinematic indeterminacy. The next thing, if I go, it would be stability of structures. Stability of structures. Stability of structures. Here also we will see 2 types of stabilities: externally stable, internally stable, or whether the structure is not stable or it is unstable. In stability of the structures, if the structure is stable, you will see whether it is externally stable. You will see its external stability, and you will see its internal stability. And if it is unstable, then same external instability, internal instability. Unstable or the unstable structures generally will be considered as mechanism. Not exactly, but anyway, in this also you'll see, okay, externally stable, external stability, internal stability, unstable structures. Which structures are called unstable structures, which structures are called stable structures? If it is stable, what type of stability? And if it is not stable, externally unstable, in external stability also you will see geometrical stability, static stability. Fine. So in externally unstable structures or stable structures. Fine. So if I talk about stability, we will discuss about that: geometrical stability and static stability. Geometrical stability and static stability. Whether it is, if structure is not stable, then we will call it as geometrically unstable structure, and some structures are called as statically unstable structures, some structures are called as mechanism. See, in external stability, we will discuss about geometrical stability and static stability. Whereas in internal stability, we will discuss about mechanisms. We will discuss about mechanisms which will be very much useful in your steel structures. Fine. So geometrical stability, when the structure is called as geometrically unstable structure, when the structure is called as statically unstable structure, or there will be points like it is geometrically stable but statically unstable, or it is statically stable but geometrically unstable, and when the structure is called as mechanisms, all these things will be discussed here. So if you see the topics that in the first chapter that we are going to discuss: static indeterminacy, kinematic indeterminacy, stability of structures. In static indeterminacy, so what first we'll be discussing types of beams and supports, and then next one we'll be seeing in static external indeterminacy, internal indeterminacy. The simple way you might have read the definition, something like that: number of unknown reactions over and above the equilibrium equations is considered as indeterminacy. Fine. So number of unknown reactions over and above equilibrium equations is external indeterminacy. Number of unknown forces over and above the equilibrium equations is called as internal indeterminacy. In depth we'll be discussing while I'm discussing the chapter. Fine. So then we'll see kinematic indeterminacy, degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom, its number of unknown displacements or rotations over and above the equilibrium equations. What exactly are displacements and rotations is seen over here. And yeah, in trusses, at each and every joint, how it is going to vary or seen over here. Next one is stability of structures, whether the structure is stable or unstable. If it is stable, whether it is externally stable or not, internally stable or not. If it fails, then in external stability we will have to see whether it is geometrically stable or unstable. If it is statically stable, you have to see everything. Whenever I say structure, the structure is to be stable geometrically, structure is to be statically, structure is said to be stable internally. Everything you have to see and say, then the structure is stable. This is one more thing. So this is your first chapter. In your second chapter, if you go, I'll discuss trusses. Trusses. Engineering services, in a GATE point of view, 2 marks question, 1 mark question. But in engineering services point of view, they might ask, may not ask. It's not necessary they'll ask. But in engineering services, they'll definitely ask. You know, minimum 20 marks you can expect from here. Trusses, both objective and subjective. Mixing both the things, you can minimum expect 20 marks, and 20 marks it's scoring subject. No difficulties, nothing. Simple, very simple, right to the point. Remember the method of doing it and you can solve each and everything. So in trusses, what we'll see? We'll see first the assumptions for the analysis of the trusses. What exactly are the major assumptions, or what exactly is a truss, and what is the difference between trusses and frames? If you might be knowing that truss is an axial member. It only takes axial forces. It will not take any bending forces. So there are different types of assumptions like this that we are going to discuss. Next, we are going to find out the forces in the truss members. That is analysis of determinate truss. I am not saying analysis of indeterminate truss. We will see analysis of determinate trusses. Determinate trusses. That means whenever I say determinate, it means you can calculate forces by using equilibrium equations. So analysis of determinate trusses. In this we will be seeing 2 methods: method of joints, and method of sections. Method of joints and method of sections, which will be further used for your which is used to calculate forces in the members. Like whenever I say members, see, this is the basic truss. load will be applied somewhere here, load will be applied somewhere here, load will be applied somewhere here. So this is the basic truss. Method of joints and method of sections are used to find out the forces in this members. Okay, if I say this as a truss, when you apply the loads in trusses, loads are applied only at the joints, not anywhere here. So by using this, we are going to, by using different methods, I'll try to find out the forces in this member. Sir, why you want to calculate forces in the member? See, whenever I say I am going to provide trusses, where you generally provide trusses? You generally provide trusses railway tracks, railway bridges mainly. You might have seen, not tracks, railway bridges. In railway bridges, below the bridges is generally made of truss. You can see the deck is something like this. You might have seen this, right? Deck of the railway bridge, or you can see sides also. There will be trusses. So all different types of trusses you will see. You will see N type of truss, you see Warren type of trusses. So idea is, what is the load that is coming onto it? So once if you know the load, you can calculate the forces in the members. Once if you know the forces in the members, for this much amount of the force, you have to design the member. This design you will see in the steel structures or in your RCC. So first of all, you find out the forces in the members. Structural analysis will give you an idea of how to find out the forces in the members. Once if you know the forces in the members, then you can design it. For this force, you have what is the area that you have to provide, what is the strength that you have to provide, that you can easily calculate. That is the idea. From that you will see in steel structures. In structural analysis, you will see what is the forces that is coming onto the member. So these are the different methods, methods of joints, method of sections. What exactly is these things, we will discuss that later. Next one, once method of joints, that is analysis of determinate trusses, and we will also try to find out deflections in the trusses. The next thing what we will do is deflections in trusses. So if I say deflections in the trusses, there are major things that you see for deflections in the trusses would be strain energy method, strain energy method is the first one. Next one is Castigliano's theorem, same. Castigliano's theorem 2 is from strain energy method only. So Castigliano's theorem 2, theorem 1, from this we'll try to find out the deflections in the trusses. Indeterminate trusses, remember whenever I am talking about deflections, that will be generally indeterminate trusses. In indeterminate trusses, there will not be much of deflections. Fine. Okay, so whenever I say by using Castigliano's theorem 2, what exactly that, we will see that later. So I will be discussing Castigliano's theorem 2 because of application of the load, how this joint moves. What is the displacement over here in x direction, displacement in the y direction, that can be calculated by Castigliano's theorem 2. So that would be your next thing in the trusses, deflections in the trusses. Once deflection in the trusses is completed, the next one would be deflections in the trusses. Next one would be analysis of redundant trusses or indeterminate trusses. Analysis of indeterminate trusses. See, this will take, generally if they have to twist the questions or if they have to make paper more interesting, they'll ask questions from here. Okay. And analysis of indeterminate trusses, how you are going to find out the forces in the members. Forces, if they want to ask 20 marks questions, they are asked from here only. So forces in the members. Next one would be lack of fit. Lack of fit. So because of this, lack of fit means if the member, if it is more, if its length is more, how it's going to affect, if its length is less, how it is going to affect, all those things. Okay, we'll be seeing here in analysis of indeterminate stresses. Okay, next one is thermal stresses, temperature stresses or thermal stresses in truss. thermostress or temperature stresses, how it affects. We will see some of the problems in GATE itself. Questions are asked from here. Remember, don't think that we can neglect this. No, you can't. Temperature stresses. Generally, you will see in redundant truss only. Redundant or indeterminacy, both are same. Redundant truss. Redundant trusses or indeterminate trusses, both are same. Remember, the name is same. So these are the things that I am going to discuss in the trusses. So, major topics. So if you see trusses, what I said, assumptions in the analysis of trusses, next analysis of determinate trusses. We will see the determinacy and indeterminacy of trusses, we will see in the first chapter. Once if you see from first chapter, by using those formulas and by using those techniques, you will find out whether the truss is determinate or indeterminate. Once you know whether the truss is determinate or indeterminate, then you will see the analysis of determinate trusses, different methods, method of joints, method of sections. Next one would be deflections in the trusses, strain energy method, Castigliano's theorem 2. And from that you will find out the deflections at each and every joint in the trusses. Next one is analysis of indeterminate trusses, forces in different members, and then forces due to lack of fit. Next, thermal or temperature stresses, because of change in the temperature, what are the stresses that is developed in the member. All those things is calculated over here in redundant trusses. So this is, with this trusses will be seen. Okay. The next one is influence line diagrams. The third chapter, I think, right? First chapter is that. Next one is influence line diagrams, ILDs. Influence line diagrams, ILDs. Fine. So if I say influence line diagrams, ILDs, what exactly is influence line diagrams? Idea is simple. If I take a simple beam, and if a unit load is passing on it, the variation of reactions, this is one of the reaction, variation of reactions, or shear force at any section. You might be knowing what exactly is shear force, bending moment. If not, we'll discuss that later. So shear force at any section, bending moment at any section. If at this section, when a unit load is passing on the beam, what is the variation of shear force? That means when unit load is here, what is the shear force at this point? When unit load is here, what is the shear force at this location? When unit load is here, what is the shear force at this location? Like when unit load is here, what is the reaction? When unit load is here, what is the reaction? When unit load is here, what is the reaction? Generally, for example, if I have to write ILD for the reaction, if I say this is A, this is B, this is some L. Okay, so initially I'll keep unit load. When a unit load passes through it, if I have to draw, so when unit load is here, the reaction at this point would be 1. When unit load is at here, reaction at A would be 0. We can calculate that, but generally I'm saying. So if I have to draw, ILD would be something like this. So ILD would be something like this. This is 1. Fine. This is ILD for reaction at A. ILD for reaction at A. So what exactly in the problems they'll do is, they'll give you a structure and they'll say this is the ILD for shear force, ILD for the bending moment, ILD for that, ILD for this. So all those things, different methods that is used, shortcut methods, all those things will be discussed in influence line diagrams. This is generally ILD for reaction at A. What exactly is use of this? See, generally, suddenly I'll keep 20 kilonewton load over here. If I say, I'll ask what is the reaction at A. You can do many equations to solve this, or simply if you know the ILD, 20 multiplied with this one. If I say this is A, reaction at A would be equals to 20 into A. Simple. That is the best usage of ILDs. If you know ILDs, you can easily solve, you can even design a bridge if you know ILD. That is the benefit of it. So in ILDs, what you will see is ILD for reactions, influence line diagrams for reactions, supports, reactions at supports, shear force, bending moment at any section, shear force at bending moment at any section when unit load is passing through it. Okay, so we'll see for different things, for beams, for trusses, I'll also discuss this in arches, for beams, trusses, arches, and then for frames also you can generate if you want to, but general things that we'll be discussing is beams, trusses and arches, bending moment at any section. So generally when there is what happens when there is uniformly distributed load kept on it, where you are going to get maximum bending moment, or for maximum bending moment at any location, how the load should be placed. Okay, and if a wheel of loads generally, if I say wheel of loads means if I take this as the beam, there will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, something like this. If I say this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So for maximum bending moment, where does maximum bending moment occurs is one question. For what combination of loads maximum bending moment occurs, and for maximum bending moment to be at this section, how the load should be placed. Okay, all those things, how it will be useful, right? You know, if you take a bridge deck, what happens? A big vehicle is moving. Big vehicle means there will be different wheels. On different wheels there will be different loading that is coming on it. So keeping that in the view, or when different vehicles are moving, at which load you are going to having maximum amount of force, maximum amount of bending moment, for that bending moment generally deck is designed. If you know the bending moment, you will find out the area. If you know the then you will find out the strength of whether it is RCC section, steel section, which section you want to give, you can calculate that. So ILD is for reactions, supports, reactions that support, shear forces, bending moments at any section can be found out. I mean, we'll find out these things. By using that, we can solve, right? What is the bending moment at any section for different types of loads. Fine. So all these things will be discussed in ILDs, influence line diagrams. Generally same 1 mark questions will be generally asked from here. If they want to twist, they can ask for 2 marks also. In engineering services, the usage of this will be more. The direct questions might be asked for 5 to 10 marks, but by using this you can easily solve bigger questions of 20 marks. Remember that. So there it would be very much useful. Next one is analysis of continuous beams or indeterminate beams. If I say analysis of indeterminate structures, see, determinate structure analysis you will do in your strength of materials, but indeterminate structures you will do in your structural analysis. Analysis of indeterminate structures. So if I see the analysis of indeterminate structures, okay, this is analysis of indeterminate structures. In this, what you will do is analysis of continuous beams, analysis of continuous beams, analysis of continuous beams is done by different methods. Moment distribution method, slope deflection method, moment distribution method, slope deflection method. Next one is Carney's method. Clapeyron's theorem of 3 moments. importance is given to these two methods generally, because very rare you will see questions from this. This will also be discussed, but it's better to give importance to these two things. So moment distribution method, slope deflection method. I'll not say this will be questions might be asked from GATE from here. 1 mark question is what you can expect, but from engineering services 20 to 40 marks. Mainly in conventional part you'll see questions from here, moment distribution method, slope deflection method. So if you're comfortable with this, you can easily solve it, you can easily score the marks. Believe me, you can easily solve and score the marks. So analysis of continuous beams. In moment distribution method also, you'll see what exactly is carryover moment, carryover factor, what exactly is a relative stiffness, what exactly is fixed end moments, everything. Carryover moment, carryover factor, relative stiffness, and fixed end moments, all these things you will be knowing, and then you'll we'll see how you're going to solve this. And slope deflection methods also, what are the different types of slopes, what is the deflections, the unknowns are slopes and deflections over here, and based on it how you're going to find out the moments. Whenever I say analysis means, see, if I say, let us say this is fixed end beam, right? Whenever I say analysis means for different types of loads. If a load is applied over here, by using moment distribution method, I'll try to find out the reactions here, moments here, reactions here, moments here, because this is an indeterminate structure, statically indeterminate structure. So based on that, I'll try to find out the reactions and moments over here. That is what I'll be doing in moment distribution method, slope deflection method, Carney's method, Clapeyron's theorem of 3 moments, all those things. Whatever I do, I just calculate the forces in this one or forces in the members. If I take the frames, when you're doing with the analysis of the frames, there will be two things. Analysis of frames, there will be two things. First one is with sway, another one is without sway, or first I will do without sway, next with sway. Anyway, just giving an idea, this is without sway, with sway. What exactly is sway? Whenever you apply the load, if there is movement in any direction, if it is moving something like this, then there is a sway. So for this sway, how you are going to analyze the things? So in frames, we will see two types of analysis: frames with sway, frames without sway. If you get a question from here, definitely 25 marks question will be asked from here, because this is a bigger process, and if you have a clear idea, you can easily score that 25 marks, 25 out of 25. The major advantage of from the first paper is you can score full marks. Out of 300 in engineering services, you can score 250 to 275 marks. And from GATE point of view, you see, they'll just ask part of the question, they'll not ask full question, but if they want to make it lengthy, they'll just ask part of the question. So it takes lengthy to solve, but if you solve this, if you have an idea of this, many people in India might not be able to solve this, but you will be able to solve, you will get the marks. So that is one thing. With sway, without sway means if the structure is something like this, when the sway occurs, when the sway does not occur, all these things will be discussed over here. This is without sway, this is with sway. So if we when the structure is subjected to load something like this, there will not be sway over here, and why there will not be sway, why there is sway, when the sway occurs, all those things will be discussed in this analysis of frames. Analysis of frames is generally done by strain energy method. Strain energy, instead of that, this is also done by moment distribution method also. Moment distribution method will be good for this, MDM. If you want to find out the deflections in the frames, then strain energy method will be good. Strain energy method, Castigliano's theorem. Deflections in the frames can also be calculated from here. What are the number of deflections is seen in first chapters, kinematic indeterminacy. How to find out the deflections, what is the value of deflections, can be seen here. Deflections in frames can be found out by using strain energy method. strain energy method means intercalates Castigliano's theorem 2 only. The application of Castigliano's theorem 2 will be seen in strain how it is applied to find out the deflections can be seen here. Strain energy method. Okay, when you apply the load, something like this, what exactly is the deflection over here? What exactly is this deflection? What exactly is this deflection? What exactly is this theta? What is this theta? Same thing. What is this theta? What is this deflection? Everything is calculated by using strain energy method. How? We'll discuss over here. So whenever I say analysis of continuous beams, analysis of frames, deflections in the frames, all those things will be seen in this, and this is majorly important from engineering services point of view, not from gate point of view. Okay, majorly important. And from gate point of view, they'll ask part of the question, they'll just take a 5 marks question and give it as a 2 marks question, if at all they have to give, and it is lengthy to solve, but if you solve it, you'll get better marks. So that is the idea from this chapter. In this chapter, what we are seeing majorly analysis of indeterminate structures. This is your 4th chapter, analysis of indeterminate structures. In this we will see analysis of continuous beams, which can be done by using moment distribution method, slope deflection method, Carney's method, Clapeyron's theorem of 3 moments. Majority it's better to give an idea for these 2 things. In moment distribution method, what is carryover moment? Here generally 2 marks questions can be asked from gate point of view. Carryover moment, carryover factor, relative stiffness, what is fixed end moments, fine. So all those things. See, this is an introduction to see what is the clear picture, what are the types of the topics over here, what are the subjects, chapters that is present in it. That's why I'm discussing this. Okay, and we have seen what exactly when load is applied. Idea is simple. When load is applied, how you are going to find out the reactions and moments. That is the thing. Next one is analysis of frames, with sway, without sway, what exactly is sway, how structures gets affected when there is sway, when there is no sway, all those things will be seen in analysis of frames, mainly in moment distribution method. By using moment distribution method only we will see. By using strain energy method or by using Castigliano's theorem 2, we will be calculating deflections in the frames. Deflections we have already seen, delta like this, theta, delta, theta, because of application of the load, whenever there is sway, whenever there is no sway, fine. All these things will be utilized to find out the things. See, these are the basics. This will help you in plastic theory in steel structures, plastic analysis also. So you should have a thorough idea. If you have thorough idea in structural analysis, strength of materials, you can easily score better marks in RCC and steel. If you are good with all these 4 subjects, minimum easily you can score 200 to 220 marks in engineering services first paper, and in gate you can easily score 16 marks, minimum 15 to 16 marks. Remember, 4 subjects, decent amount of marks. And after this, the next one would be arches and cables. Arches and cables. If I see arches and cables, in arches also we will be seeing what are the different types of arches. 3-hinged arch, 3-hinged arches and 2-hinged arches. There will be 3-hinged arch, there will be 2-hinged arch. In 3-hinged arches, 2-hinged arches also there will be. 3-hinged arch is generally determinate structures. This is determinate structure. This is indeterminate structure. 2-hinged arch is an indeterminate structure, whereas 3-hinged arch is a determinate structure. 3-hinged arch is a determinate structure, 2-hinged arch is an indeterminate structure. Generally, something like this. you might have seen arches below the bridge decks. Bridge decks, it can also be made up of arches, or you can see in the mast or all those things, domes. It has got the geometrical advantage actually. Fine. So when load is applied, what are the reactions here? This will be a 3-inch arch. So when load is applied, what are the reactions at the supports? What is the bending moment in the member? What is the normal thrust? What is the radial shear at any section? What is the normal thrust? What is the radial shear? Okay, what is the bending moment at these points? All those things we are going to see, and how the thermal stresses are going to affect the horizontal thrust. Here you will see something like horizontal thrust like this. Fine. So something like this. This is also hinge support over here. Okay. So these are the 3 hinged arch parts. Here you will see something like this. Okay, this is 3-inch arch. 3-inch arch is generally determinate structure. By using equilibrium equations, you can easily calculate all the things in 3-inch arches. Fine. Whereas when it is coming to 2-inch arches, then it is an indeterminate structure. 2-inch arch will be something like this. 2-inch arch will be something like this. This is an indeterminate structure, and we'll see what exactly is determinacy. I told you that determinacy, how to find out all those things, we'll see. I'm telling you just, this is an indeterminate structure, 2-inch arch. Here when load is applied, how to calculate the forces. When, if at all, a rib is provided like this, then how to calculate the forces. And because of temperature effects, so due to load, if a rib is provided due to rib, next, due to temperature, how the forces or how the reactions that is going to vary, that we'll see here, due to thermal stresses, all those things. Because of all these things, how exactly the thrust, the horizontal thrust plays an important role over here. This is the H horizontal thrust, unknown force. So that plays an important role over here. How you are going to find out the horizontal thrust is the total game in this. Okay. So horizontal thrust, and then due to load, how you are going to find out, if at all a rib is provided like this, then how does it affect the things due to thermal stresses, how the horizontal thrust is going to get affected. All those things will be seen here. This is, remember, this is one more thing. This is what you will see. Then you will see so yeah, so this is one more thing. Next one is, you will see ILDs. ILDs for horizontal thrust in the trusses. ILDs for horizontal thrust. I told you that horizontal reaction, right? That would be the horizontal thrust. Whenever I take this one, this is the reaction over here, H is the horizontal thrust. ILD is for the horizontal thrust. That means when unit load moves, how does it affects, how the bending moment gets affected. All those things we'll be seeing here. So we'll be discussing 2-inch arches, we'll be discussing 3-inch arches, the horizontal thrust, the ILDs for it, the effect of thermal stresses on it, all those things will be seen. And cables will be discussed based on a problem. Whenever I say a cable is also same as a truss. It will take only what? Tension. Trusses will take compression, but cable will not take compression also. It will take only tension. You can just, when load is applied, it can extend like this. Fine. So only tensile stresses it will take, tensile forces it will take. Based on this, we'll see how the cables can be solved. Problems based on cables can be solved. We'll see that one also. Fine. So geometric similarity and all those things will be seen over here. This is one more thing. Uh, this is arches and cables. Next one is matrix method of analysis. You know, simply 2 marks you'll get from here, from your gate. Simply 2 marks. Same simple as your mathematics. So in matrix method of analysis, there will be 2 methods actually. Stiffness method of analysis, stiffness method, stiffness matrix method, or flexibility matrix method. Flexibility matrix method, stiffness matrix method, flexibility matrix method. Generally, stiffness is inversely proportional to flexibility. Load, what exactly is stiffness? Stiffness is equals to load upon unit deflection is stiffness. If I say flexibility, flexibility is equals to deflection under unit load. So idea is simple. You'll apply the unit load, you'll find out the deflections, you'll generate matrices. You'll generate different matrix instead of solving. See, it is same as that of moment. If I say stiffness method, it is same as that of moment distribution or slope deflection. It is flexibility is same as that of Clapeyron's theorem method only, but Clapeyron's theorem of 3 moments only. The only different thing is we will generate the matrices. Based on that, you'll generate the equilibrium equations. Based on that, you'll solve. What exactly is benefit of it? This is benefit by whenever softwares are used. In softwares, today the softwares are running based on this method, matrix method of analysis. It's only purely based on matrix method of analysis. Okay, so you might have seen this in your college, you might have taken this as your subjects, fine. So optional subjects, finite element method, finite difference method, all those things. In that, idea is simple. You generate the matrices, you solve based upon the matrices. You generate the matrices, you solve based upon the matrices only. Like, you know, load matrix is equals to stiffness matrix multiplied with deflections. Fine. So by using equilibrium equations or by using compatibility conditions, you try to find out loads and deflections. Idea is what? Idea is to find out loads only. If you know the forces, loads in the sense forces. If you know the forces in the member, then you can easily design the member. Fine. So in this, we'll see how to develop matrices, how to develop stiffness matrix and flexibility matrix. Flexibility matrix for different structures. It can be used for beams, it can be used for frames, it can be used for anything. How to develop stiffness matrix, how and flexibility matrix, what are the next analysis of structures by using these methods, analysis of structures by matrix methods, and when you are going to use this, when you are going to use stiffness method, when you are going to flexibility matrix method, when static indeterminacy is more, which method should be used, when kinematic indeterminacy is more, which method to be used, all those things will be seen here. Fine. So we will be discussing certain points. It will be like, you know, square matrix only, why exactly this is square matrix, and why diagonal elements are same, and not diagonal elements, the about other 2 elements are same, and fine. So why, all those things will be seen here. Application of strength of materials is seen more over here. So it's better if you remember what is the deflections, what is the rotations for basic thing in simply supported beam with central load, simply supported beam with UDL, simply cantilever beam with point load, cantilever beam with UDL, cantilever beam with varying load, all those things. If basically if you remember, fine, well and good, I'll discuss over here, but it's always better to remember. Your time will be reduced. So all those things, analysis by the matrix method. Generally from here 2 marks can be easily asked in your gate, 1 mark or 2 marks will be asked from here, and in your engineering services 10 to 20 marks. Simple basic questions will be asked, easily you can score. Generally people neglect this, but don't neglect it. Out and out, if they are giving for 80 marks in engineering services, you can easily score 80 marks. If they are giving for 4 marks, you can easily score 4 marks. You don't waste this, because 100% of marks you can gain from here compared to that of other subjects. Okay, keep this in your mind. So these are the subjects, these are the chapters I am going to discuss. What are the chapters that I have discussed? First one is static indeterminacy, kinematic indeterminacy, and stability of structures. Stability of structures. Majorly important from both IES and GATE point of view, objective questions. Next one is stresses, IES and GATE point of view, equally important, conventional part, and this one also. Next one is ILDs, influence line diagrams. This is also important from GATE point of view, and engineering services, more of engineering services, GATE 1 mark to 2 marks. Next, analysis of indeterminate structures, very much important from engineering services point of view, analysis of indeterminate structures. Next one is arches and cables. If they want to twist, they might ask questions from here, very rare. Arches and cables, if they want to twist, they'll twist from this, but decent questions can be asked from here also. Matrix method of analysis, important from both GATE and engineering services, 2 marks. In engineering services, minimum 20 marks. Matrix method of analysis. These are the 5 subjects I am going to discuss with you. Nothing more, nothing less. See, why I am discussing this is, you should have a thorough idea. These are the topics. Whenever you are revising this, you should know what are these. First of all, you should know what are the chapters. In chapters, what you have discussed, what are the problems, and what are the problems that you have discussed, and what is the solutions. Solutions in the sense, how to solve this. This will help you in your revision. So these are the topics, these are the chapters, these are the topics, these are the concepts that we have discussed. This is how you will go. Like, you know, this is a book, you open the book, it's like your mind should, like, you enter into the book, and then this chapter, this topic, this place, okay, you have done this, solve it. This is how things goes. Simple. Whenever you're solving anything, whenever you're doing anything, this is how you're going to do it. Got it? So this is totally of structural analysis, 4 to 6 marks, 60 to 80 marks. Fine. So with this, I'm going to close this session. In the next session, I'll start the topics. Okay. Thank you.